Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, that is going to be set up by who the world fraudulently and falsely called JC. His name is Yahushai. Right, to be the ruling class people here on earth above all people. Above all people. All governments. There will be no more governments. There will be one government. And it will be the government of heaven, which is going to be here on earth according to what the scriptures say. Right, the scriptures does not talk about some imaginary fairy tale place floating around in the clouds. Heaven will be here on earth, meaning rulership. Right, which will be the tabernacle of David, the 144,000 men chosen, the elect of Israel, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations, they have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing, right? The Israelites are scattered among all people, among all races, and waiting patiently for when the Lord comes and gathers them up. And to the few Akwaf, the sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson, truth lessons within lessons, right? I like to preach about or teach about the kingdom of heaven that will be here on earth in every opening, in every video, right? Because that's what the Bible is all about. And here, you know, as Esau continues to slander and lie and accuse, let me grab a scripture. This is Revelation 12 and 10. And it reads, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which did accuse them before our power day and night. And see, they accuse us over and over again because they fear the salvation and the strength. Because upon the return of the Lord, this is how you know the Israelites have not been restored. Number one, when the Israelites are restored and go home, all weapons will be gathered up and destroyed. The scripture said they would no more. They would learn war no more. All right. There'll be no more wars, no more violence. Okay. All the weapons will be gathered together and burned, and then there will be peace on earth. It's been far from peace. You know, from ever since those imposters went into the homeland, right? And then what I love to talk about is the 36, 37 chapter, you know. And if you want to know, you already know I'm talking about Ezekiel. All right, 36 and 37 chapter destroys the doctrines of Judaism, which is not biblical at all. You know, Judaism is contrary to the Bible, completely contrary to the Bible. They follow the Talmud, a whole nother book, and then just hold on to the Bible as a front. All right, and then the fact that that in the 36th chapter of Ezekiel, all right, it tells you that the Edomites would be in the land of the Lord in the last days, and they will be ruling there. I mean, so many of their scholars, had said so. The Encyclopedia Judaica, 1925, 1980, 1905. All of them pretty much say the same thing. All right. Then another thing is that then the 37th chapter, which is the awakening. All right. Because, B.B. Milkowski, he made the statement that they've always known 3,000 years of history. All right. Of J-ish history. Well, that doesn't fit the Bible, right? Because the Bible tells you clearly that the Israelites would have to remember themselves. They wouldn't know who they were. They would be, the diaspora. They would be scattered among all nations and lose their heritage. And that's exactly what they did. So you have to ask yourself when you read Ezekiel 37 chapter, and the stick, when they put the plank together and put the 12 tribes on it, that's a major part of prophecy, a major part of the return of the Israelites. That didn't happen with the small hats. Or the little hats. The little hats didn't have camps all over the world going out on the highways and byways, professing that they're awakened to who they are and putting out a sign so that their lost people could see it and come up and question it because their people have fallen under the curses, all right? And that their spirit would identify with their spirit, as the scriptures say. They didn't go through any of that. Meanwhile, they continue to accuse. I'll read that again, Revelation 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, now has come salvation and the strength and the kingdom of our power. Well, the strength, our kingdom is going to be here on earth. Our power is Yahushua. All right, and he's going to imbue us with power. The reason where all weapons will be destroyed because the Israelites won't need weapons. We will be the weapon. The Lord is going to make the judges of Israel immortals, gods. Right? They'll be able to manipulate the weather and the elements and everything. There will be no weapons needed. So Esau hates us. I think I said that in a lesson yesterday. He hated us because of the blessing. Let's read that. Because he knows that what I just said is what the Bible says. And that is exactly what's going to happen. Thus saith the scriptures. But that's in Genesis 27. I'm right. 39, 40. Yep, 39. Well, I started 38. Just repeat it yesterday or the day before. But it says, Genesis 27, 38, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me, also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above, and by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. And that's exactly what they did. They were under us. Then their blessing of the sword kicked in. Alexander of Macedon went on the move and established Esau as the first people. And Alexander was an Amalekite. It said Amalek will be the first of the nations. All right. And the Edomites came into power for the first time in their entire existence through Alexander of Macedon. And through there, they conquered the brown people of Asia that they changed to Eurasia. All right. They conquered the brown people of Greece, the brown people of Rome. And then they labeled themselves those names the same way they labeled themselves Australians when they conquered the brown people over there, when they colonized them, when they colonized America, when they colonized Hawaii, every place that they colonized. This is what they did. Okay? And why? And they lived by the sword. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand, but I will slay my brother Jacob. And they've been doing it ever since. Verse 42, these words of Esau, his elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. So he finds comfort in making our people suffer and killing us. And all you have to do is just watch the police cameras, all the unnecessary and over abuse and over policing of our people. When you're stepping on someone and punching them, you know, the reaction that you're going to get is they're going to cover up and not give you their hands because they're trying to protect their face. But you're punching on them and saying that they're resistant. All right. You know, and they're just going to put their hands behind their back and let you continue to pummel and beat them. And neither, I saw one guy, the guy's hands are behind his back and the partner's behind his back, yanking and pulling on him, and the cop in front of him grabs him by the shoulder and knees him in his stuff. You know, they punch, just beat him, punch on him, kick him. All right, and when they ball up in the ball, which is only a human reaction to being pummeled and hit, is to try to protect yourself, protect your face, you know, you start balling up in the ball, and then they scream that they're resisting. Yeah. These are really, really a hateful, murderous people. And they project their hate, their race, their bloody ways, they project onto Jacob as if Jacob is the problem here. This is a definition of projection, blaming. All right. It says, projection blaming is a defense mechanism where a person unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or traits to another person's, avoiding and acknowledging them in themselves, or purposely projecting. Because Esau purposely projected. It's not unconscious with him at all. Example of a married man attracted to a coworker might accuse her of flirting to avoid confronting his own feelings of attraction and possible guilt. Blaming others can also stem from feeling insecurity or the desire to deflect attention from their own anger or wrongdoing. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, does this all day long. Let's play a video. Then we're going to go to the video at hand because you can see my man Amazing Lucas went in again, and another Edomite went on a bloody rampage. But yet they keep painting the narrative that brown men are the problem here in America, and they got to take back the cities. And all these cities that they so-called taking back, the crime is down. And that whole thing that happened on 75th, they even got the bus rerouting. That was all a lie. Okay? All a lie. There is no Trinidad Aragua operating in the middle of Lakeside, folks. The disciples, the gangster disciples here in Chicago, or BDs, I forget which. I think Lakeside is GDs, I think. And then, of course, and then Terrortown. That place sits right in between them. Ain't no Trinidad Aragua doing shit in Terrortown and Lakeside. That was a white man's lie so that he would have an excuse to pummel, beat, step on the necks, and just use his sword. All right, trying to, projecting and pushing a false narrative so that he could just commit violent acts against Jacob. And that's exactly what he did. So let me find this video. Is this it? Oh, that's a good one too, but that's not it. Yeah, here we go.
This is the man who shot Charlie Kirk. This is the man who shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Portman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man, and this man, and this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, and this man. This is the man who set Jeff Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics.
Yeah, the fact is that they're all Edomites. The white male is the problem in the West, Stephen Miller. That little short, bald piece of shit. Let me skip.
Black on black crime?
Right. Let me get the disclaimer. Section 107. Copyright disclaimer disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, so we're going to play about 5 minutes of this this video with my man, the amazing Lucas.
Black on black crime? Oh my goodness. So I at first was going to do a separate video about the comments that Don Lemon said regarding white men, and then how Matt Walsh did the meme. But I think this just flows more perfectly into this video. Because if you haven't heard, there was, another common occurrence by this certain demographic. You had a white male, Vincent Battaloro, okay? Battaloro, it's hilarious that they call him Battaloro because you had to be batch crazy to do something like this. So Vincent is a representative, is emblematic of a large swath of this country. White, male, incel, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and violent, and low impulse control. That's interesting. That's awfully similar to another demographic that they say. Never mind. That's not important. Let's continue on with the story. Well, Vincent was apparently trying to go after this girl, and the girl was like, "No, leave me alone. You're weird." Right? Yeah, I'm sure they hear this all the time. You're weird. You're ugly. You're nasty. You got no muscles. You got no game. Right?
She reportedly had spurned his advances and had filed for a restraining order against him.
Hi, can I place an order for delivery, please? Can I get 2 large pepperoni pizzas? It'll be cash at the door.
He then lets out that demonic laugh.
So what happens is now Vincent is starting to see that this girl is making fun of Charlie Kirk. And Vincent loses it. He goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And Vincent goes so crazy. And I don't want to give him an out by saying crazy because that I don't mean by like insanity, oh, I'm innocent because I'm crazy. I mean like this is like their normal state. Just based off the pattern recognition, this is their normal state is crazy. So Vincent uses his car and at 70 miles per hour, that's correct. He goes over and takes, unfortunately, the life of these 2 girls. They are now in heaven. God rest their soul. Something, Charlie Kirk is unfamiliar with. Isn't that right, Charlie? Yeah, I know.
Tells viewers it's all because allegedly Maria had made fun of Charlie Kirk.
So this individual who was inspired by Charlie Kirk and the likes of Andrew Tate, he did this violent, heinous activity, this tragedy. And I'm very curious, maybe Piers Morgan will have me back on to talk about the violence of the right. Maybe J.D. Vance and Donald Trump will put out a tweet to talk about, the violence of the right and how we have to cool down the temperature. Maybe Charlie Kirk Yeah, maybe.
Doubt it.
I don't know if you can tweet from hell, but, you know, give it a shot. Ask Satan for permission. Maybe Charlie Kirk can tell us about this awesome shirt. And this, I will say, is an awesome shirt. How did per capita help Charlie Kirk? Can someone explain that to me? For all the high IQ white men out there, can one of y'all explain it to me? I find it so fascinating. Now, tying back in to what Don Lemon said, which was, white men, y'all are broken, y'all need help.
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you. White men, something is broken.
Damn.
Something is cracked.
Damn.
Deep inside when so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss, to change is violence.
And the irony of Matt Walsh talking about, well,
Because Don Lemon doesn't understand that Esau is that bloody man, and by the sword thou shalt live. All right? He's just a murderer. He's a murderer from the beginning. He had no reason to kill Cain. Shalakia, Cain had no reason to kill Abel, but he killed him anyway. It's just the nature of the devil, of the deceiver. That's what devil means. And they're the biggest deceivers. They lie about everything, including their identity. They want to be everyone except the Edomites. And all the evidence of the Bible and history and the rabbis tell you that white Christianity, Western society, Europe and America are Edom. but so are the little hats. They're Edom too.
black men are way more violent. Sir, within a time span of what, maybe a few weeks, y'all killed Charlie Kirk. Y'all did a mass shooting, multiple mass shootings. Y'all now just attacked someone, actually took the life of 2 innocent girls because of words, all right? And you had Piers Morgan calling me, getting upset about me over memes. Bruh. And then they want to talk about, black on black crime. Listen, how did that help these 2 girls? How did per capita help Charlie Kirk? How did per capita help the kids that were praying in the middle of prayer that a white male youth went and the school, okay, the church? How does that help them? Can someone explain that to me? This is a great shirt. I love this shirt. Per capita, all right? This may be the only shirt I wear for all of my videos, okay, for the rest of this year. How did the per capita, how did that help? Can someone explain that to me? All right, anybody in the audience? Perhaps what you should be focused on is yourself. Perhaps instead of deflecting blame and responsibility on black crime, because I don't know how black on black crime affects you, little Timmy. How did black on black crime affect Charlie Kirk, huh? How did black on black crime affect these 2 girls? How did black on black crime affect, anyone? In the history of this country, to be honest with you, there has been one group of people, and these evil people, all right? The lineage of evil, as I call them, all right? When it comes to these white males, and it's always a white male, always. You can look throughout all of history, it always stems from a white male.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Always. And let me just be clear, I'm not blaming all white men. No. I'm not doing that, because you have to understand, that's what they love to do. That's what they try to argue with Don Lemon, right? Well, you're married to a white male. Listen, the white male that Don Lemon's talking about, the white male that I'm talking about, they would have killed him, okay? They would have had him hanging from a tree and called him an N-word lover. That's what they would have done, all right? Damn. So there is a group of white men throughout this country who would have killed the good white men. Who
Not just throughout this country, but throughout the world, Brother Lucas. I'm going to read that definition and then read a couple scriptures and wrap this up. Let's read that projection again. I'll bring it in the camera. All right. And it says, matter of fact, I might screenshot and save this one and add it to the receipts. Projection blaming is a defense mechanism where a person unconsciously, we know consciously, with the Edomite, attributes their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or traits to another person to avoid acknowledgement in themselves. All right. Let's go down to how it works. Unconscious process. Projection is a subconscious way the ego protects itself from difficult emotions like shame, fear, or guilt. Ego defense, and that's the one. All right. That's the one in Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed, professed white people who are really red. All right. Ego defense, rather than dealing with an uncomfortable internal state. See, the problem is them, their bloodlust and their murdering, their murderous ways, their thieving ways. All right. The individual protects it outward, making it seem like an external problem or someone else's fault. Wow. So that's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Let's get this scripture. Yeah, I think I have to screenshot and keep that one. This is Psalms 5 and 5. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity, and they work iniquity day in and day out. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. There's no people on earth that has shed more blood and is more deceitful than a self-professed white man. Okay? Jump down to verse 9. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. The inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is as an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongues. Destroy thou them, O power. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of thy transgressions, for they rebel against thee, and they openly rebel against the Lord. The Lord is coming to smite them down. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rekah Hakwadash Kwam Yasarala Abba Babal.